record.
Well, Nate's already upset
always
about today.
Always upset.
That's it. Hey, avoiding legal snags, guys. Avoiding legal snags by telling you guys we're being recorded.
What are we even recording? What are we even talking about? Indie wrestling is on pause.
Hey, man. I got to do cool things last week.
We got to talk
I
about
also got to do cool
Yeah, I'm
things.
going to talk about it because it was already talked about that the tapings happened. I wish.
Nate,
I wish. Wait, go.
Nate also did cool things. He said, "Okay, you both have material to talk about."
Yeah, where the fuck have you been?
Quarantined.
He's been painting.
I've been painting.
I haven't painted in a week now.
I'm gonna get back on it.
Well, I know. I have to finish what I did last week.
I couldn't believe, guys.
I have quite a bit.
I couldn't believe people offered to buy my paintings. I couldn't believe it. Dude, I got people offering me on Twitter. I was like, really? You want to buy these?
They're like one blow job for the painting.
Jesus, we're not even like a minute and a half into this.
No, sir.
Unbelievable, though. Nate, I felt validated. I got that validation. I was like, here I am, just spilling a bunch of paint on canvas. They like me. They really like me.
They do.
They do.
Make some money, boys. Make my little side hustle. You know, the quarantine side hustle. Painting some paintings. But yeah, I mean, well, nothing's happening in indie wrestling. But you guys stayed busy. I guess we have a little bit to talk about. We have something. We have no major news, I guess. Any news that's in the wrestling world is already broken and has broken a few hearts today, right? I mean, there's nothing we're gonna surprise anybody with. But you guys want to talk about your news, your hot news?
Yeah.
Who wants to go first on the hot news?
Nate, let's have you go first since you're the guest. Oh yeah, do you want to do the intro?
Nate's also the head referee of when we do start wrestling. Yeah. top guy, tip top guy, and because of that, I'm gonna also kill a little time and figure out what episode number this is, and so I'm just
65.
Is it 65? It is 65. All right, well, everybody. Well, after that confirmation, welcome back to the Backstage Boys Podcast, episode number.
Backstreet Boys Podcast.
What did I say? Did I say Backstreet?
Did you?
No, I did not. Did I? Let me try it again. Well, we're not editing, so we're going to try it again. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Backstage Boys Podcast, episode number 65. This is Trent, my co-host.
Basil.
And the other gentleman to his maybe left, let's say left, referee Nate Speckman. How you doing, Rev?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
I'm good. I know you don't sound all right, Nate. I know your heart's hurting today. A lot of people's hearts hurting.
It is.
Yeah, but you are the head ref in my life. You are the only ref in my world, and I want you to feel special for that. So don't let the news of today get you down. Did I really say Backstreet Boys?
I think you did. We'll have to ask Chico, though.
Yeah, Chico's going to let me have it. Chico is going to really...
He listens to the podcast, luckily.
He's really going to let me have it on that one. If it is. I'm not going
to... It's the only time I'll approve for Chico to fucking go at you.
You and Chico were getting along friendly online today. Like a friendly interaction, which never happens with Chico. He kind of always just hammers you about some bullshit. Like, just gets you about something.
Yeah, he's always on some shit.
But today you guys are being nice to each other. I was kind of shocked. I didn't like the gimmick. I like when you guys are fighting. I like upholding kayfabe.
I don't like fighting.
No, but I do like when Chico and you maintain kayfabe. So we have to do that for the sake of quarantine. We got to make the material stretch, Basil. Got to make material stretch. So anyway, boys, we got it's been a weird day in professional wrestling on the majors, the major top dog company out there. Rough day, rough waters for everybody, but let's start with some positives. You guys did some stuff. I was quarantined. I've been painting. I've been doing work. I haven't been doing anything wrestling related other than the AAW history posts. That's what I've been doing. I've been keeping busy with that. But Nate, you want to tell us what you did? What'd you get into? What's new?
Yeah. So I'm not going to speak too much in detail on this, but I belong to a group of referees on the interwebs that every day this past week they've been having a different referee come in and do a Q&A session.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been actively listening and participating in all of those, which has been tremendous.
Really? Okay.
And then I actually took an online seminar with Mike Quakenbush yesterday on tag team wrestling. And if you have the opportunity as a wrestler, referee, anything, to take one of Mike Quakenbush's seminars, I highly suggest that you do it.
How often are these happening?
I think he's also doing one every day this week. I could be wrong, but I think he's trying to make it a daily occurrence. And usually his seminars cost anywhere from like $100 to $200.
Mm-hmm.
These ones he's doing for $10.
$10 online, like Skype?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I like that it was. Sorry, I like that it was tag team wrestling because that was a hot discussion item for you last week.
For me?
Yeah, with the tag rope situation.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We had the tag rope talk we had.
yeah.
Let's talk
Or
about
what constitutes a legal tag.
Yeah.
I actually like that conversation because legal tags really, or illegal tags that happened, really grind my gears. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on that real quick. So Matt Fitchett had a post saying that he watched a Rockers versus Brainbusters match where the referee, somebody tried to tag with their foot, and the referee called it off, said it wasn't legal, and had them continue on like the tag never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Dominic Greene came in and was saying that he had a situation like that happen in a match where the ref also didn't call it. And then there was another spot where I think they tried to tag through the ropes and not over it, and the ref didn't call it again. And so I just mentioned, as far as I've been taught, it's 2 feet on the apron, hand over the top. And Jason Ayers from WWE came in and said the same thing, said you have to be holding the tag rope.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing. And interestingly enough, one of the topics of conversation in Mike Quakenbush's tag team seminar was that exact match.
Really?
He had everybody watch it and study it for tag team purposes, but I was studying it for referee purposes.
How are you guys watching this? Are you guys like, is he like piping in the video, or is he telling you to pull it up on your own?
He suggests you pull it up on the WWE network.
Got it. Okay. Gotcha. Interesting. That was really interesting. We were talking to you about that whole debate. I thought that was fascinating, especially when, TV refs are jumping into the conversations. I thought that was cool. Are you doing more of these seminars? This is actually pretty fascinating that he's doing this. I mean, Quakenbush, he's like one of the best teachers ever.
Oh my, he's amazing. Like, just not only the wealth of knowledge that he has, but the way he can articulate it. He'll sort of cover a topic and then ask if there are any questions, and it's like, no, you covered that pretty thoroughly, to the point where everybody can like comprehend it and store it and move on.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Are there others doing these types of seminars? Are there other like schools and coaches and stuff, or who else is doing this stuff?
I don't know. I'm sure that there are. This one just caught my eye, and I was like, I have to take it.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's really cool. Very interesting. All right. Basil, you had news. You were somewhere. This was interesting news.
So let me pull up the calendar date on this one. So I would say about Thursday the 9th. No, sorry. Thursday the 2nd. I was given a call by my boss at Impact, Josh Matthews, and was asked, "Hey, do you want to work?" I said yes, didn't even hesitate. And he says, "We got tapings in Nashville next week. Can you make it down?" I said, "I'll be there." And then over the days, got info on what's happening. Found out, and this has already been announced, that Rebellion is now too big for one night, and it will be a 2-night TV event instead of the pay-per-view that was supposed to originally happen on the 19th. That was actually supposed to happen this upcoming Sunday. And we took part in 3 days of tapings. We taped 7 episodes, and it was crazy. I'm not going to talk too much details. That's about it with the 7 episodes that I'll say. It was very surreal. There was a lot of social distancing put in place with the rosters. I won't say how it happened, because that's not my business to talk about, because it's not out there yet, and I don't want it to be out there because fuck the dirt sheets. I'm glad that they have no info, and I'm glad that it's crazy because everybody who was there obviously doesn't want anything to get out. And it was like the second or third days of tapings, and I was just peeping on dirt sheets just to see it. I'm just like, I just want to see what lies are going out there. And then they said that like no title matches are happening at Rebellion, and I was just like, oh, this is so nice. It's just nice to see people are just making up shit, and it's just one of those times where you can prove it. But overall, it was a very positive vibe from everybody. Everybody was happy to be there. Everybody who was working there was asked to be there. Nobody was forced. Some people declined. You'll see that over the upcoming weeks who's not on the show. There's some people who couldn't be there because they live in other countries, and with the travel ban, it's impossible. So you guys will just see how that goes. But it was very positive vibes. Social distancing was in full effect. They took care. Everybody got taken care of. It was this fantastic hotel in Nashville that we all stayed at. It made recovery and all that stuff very, very easy and seamless. You guys saw the room, and bed was comfortable. The hotel was amazing. It was the Hyatt house in Nashville on Fifth Avenue. Fantastic place.
Yeah.
They all went way above and beyond for us.
You guys must have been the only people in there. That's the other thing too. Like the roster must have been the only people staying.
I didn't see anybody else besides the roster in that building. Yeah. There might have been there was a couple other people I saw, but majority of that building was the roster. It was like I said, the Hyatt house in Nashville on Fifth Avenue took care of us. They went above and beyond. They were all very friendly. Nobody seemed they didn't want to be there. They were all happy that we were there. They just took very good care of us, and I was happy about that. Made the stay just a little bit better. So, but yeah, it was 3 long nights. It was very weird. The ring was cleaned between every single match and every single promo segment. Even if there was just a promo segment that happened in the ring, the ring was re-cleaned every single time. But yeah, it was weird at first. Like the first, I would say, day or so, everything was just awkward, and then everybody kind of got into a rhythm, and it was kind of like there were some positives and some negatives from it. Obviously, like the biggest negative was no fans, like no reaction. Like I missed that a lot.
That's the biggest adjustment here. There's no fans. How do you deal with not having that instant gratification of something you just did getting that feeling of, hey, that was good. People like that. You're kind of just doing it for the sake of doing it. It's almost like being in practice.
Yeah, the roster was spread out all over the building. We were at Skyway Studios in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic building. Big. It's nice and gated. So there's no public access to it generally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was part of the reason why it went through. And yeah, I don't know. It was just I shot wrestling. It was cool. I got a lot of productivity done. So, but yeah, it was cool. It was nice to see my friends. That's like one big thing. There was like a few people. There were some people who I didn't get to see because they weren't there, and I was sad
Mm-hmm.
about that. But overall, like it was, like I said, it was just great to see people that I haven't seen in months, and everybody got to do what they love to do, and that's wrestle. So
I want to get, because Basil, you and I talked about this last week and stuff variously. But Nate, what's your thought on these empty arena shows? I mean, do you have a feeling on them? Are you against them, for them? What do you think about them? Like, everybody's doing it at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, not having an audience is, it's a huge element that's missing. If I don't know, I feel like if you're able to do it and you're able to do it safely,
Mm-hmm.
it's. I look at it as in good ways and bad ways, or maybe it might change depending on the day or my mood. But like, there's a humongous back catalog of wrestling to watch, either on streaming services or YouTube or wherever. But like, there's something to be said for new, fresh, current wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And like it satisfies a certain need, but and I guess I haven't really heard anything in terms of like WWE continuing to do empty arena shows or Impact continuing to do empty arena shows where it's actually made people where people have been become sick from it. Like, that might happen. I don't know. I haven't heard it. If it does happen, maybe I'll change my stance and say that it's probably not the best idea. But like, if I'll tell you right now, just sitting at home, like if somebody was like, "Hey, we have a show coming up soon. We want you to be on it," I'd probably be like, "Oh," I would seriously entertain the thought, because right now I'm just climbing the walls.
What's the stop? What's the thought that would cross your mind that would stop you though? That would make you go, yeah, you know what, maybe not. Like, would that thought even cross your mind at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
let me give you another piece of criteria. Let's say it's set up the way Basil just described how Impact was: apron or the mat clean, replaced after each match, or clean after each match, disinfections, masks provided, everything you can use for safety.
yeah, I did get masks and gloves provided to me every single day. There was somebody there taking their temperature. You weren't allowed to enter the building without your temperature taken, and if you showed any signs of sickness, you were sent home, but you were still paid.
So, given all that, Nate, would you do it, or would you still think about it?
I don't know. I keep going back to Trent when I came to see you at your apartment, and then the next day had a faulty thermometer tell me that I had a fever. And
Oh
I was
shit!
like, I was like, man, I feel so bad. I potentially could have gotten my good friend sick. And then the next day it was like, oh, there might be a wrestling show in town. I was like, I really want to go. And it's like, think about how you felt like absolute shit just a day ago,
Yeah.
thinking about telling one person that you might have the virus. Think about going to a show and interacting with however many people and calling up those people and saying, hey, listen, I have a sore throat, I have a fever. You might want to get yourself tested. Like, it's just a weird time, and I don't know what the right answer is 98% of the time. So
Yeah.
and
It's tricky.
it like common knowledge wars with what's in your heart, and I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah. It's tough. This whole thing has a second guessing a lot of our own decisions. Like, the simplest thing for me, I used to leave my apartment to push the elevator button to go down. And I literally am like putting on gloves and thinking 3-4 weeks ago, I didn't think I give this a second thought to push the elevator button and worry about what was going on afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, the smallest, simplest thing is now second guessed. I can only imagine a big activity like that. And here's the thing: what happens when they're like, all right, the curb's down, you guys can go out. You guys can go out and resume life. Like, do we resume life? Are you like at that point? If they're like, hey, Nate, there's a wrestling show coming, are you like, yeah, cool, I'm in? Or is there a bit of part of you that goes, I'd like to maybe wait a few more weeks? Like, what happens?
I think people going to work is the first step, and then still practicing social distancing.
But what's like? I work in an office where there's thousands of people, and I sit 3 feet from the guy next to me. How can I social distance? You know what I mean? Like, at what point do we stop? Do we look at what's the small way to ease it in, as opposed to, let's have a mass gathering again? It's a real tough situation. I don't know where to go with it, honestly. And Nate, I can only imagine your dilemma that you spoke of is completely valid in this sense. It's like you're like, yeah, you felt bad about coming to my house, and then the next day you're like, yeah, I should go. Maybe there's a show. It's like, what the hell? Like, what is going through our heads through all this? It's a very confusing time.
Right. And like, sometimes you can like, you just want to throw logic out the window because you just want to go see your friends, or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't get it. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say my family was not immediately happy about this decision.
Mm-hmm.
But a conversation that got brought up last week was about how sick I was in January.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we talked about this on the pod.
Maybe.
I was extremely sick this past January. People who know me know I don't get sick, like, very often at all. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I was sick for more than a day and didn't get over it. But this time, it was to the point where I had to get taken to urgent care, and I had the worst dry cough in the world. I called off work for the first time in like 7 years because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally on the floor shaking at work because I was so nauseous, so dizzy, coughing up a storm, and I tested negative for bronchitis, and I tested negative for strep. So it's just one of those things that like made me think it's like, and then when I found out all the symptoms of corona, I'm like, I feel like I had this already, but it just wasn't as widespread. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I might have had it. I can't say for certain that I did, but I feel like I was like, well, if I did have it, my immunity is high to it. I'm not saying that I'm immune to it, because there's no long-term testing on this. if there is immunity, if there's only one strain of it. Nobody knows for sure. But I heard that if when you do get it, your antibodies are very high within the first 1 to 2 years of
Really?
getting sick. I did read up on that your antibodies get very high, but they don't know yet if that means immunity.
Well, in many ways, I mean, it's like a combination of things, right? The immunity, it's the antibodies and it's your immune system being where it is prior, and your age is a big part of that too. So there's a lot of factors.
I
Uh,
mean, I was out of it for a solid week.
yeah.
I had to cancel 2 shows. Had to go off work for 2 days. It was pretty. It was pretty big.
Well,
So
like Mike Petkovich, same thing. He around the same time you had it. Remember he was telling us on the show we did with him. He said he had the same thing happen in his office. He was out like right around the same time you did.
yeah, we all of us see like the big like starting point for me was Hard to Kill, was Dallas. Everything in Dallas that weekend was like the start because you guys were with me in Dallas.
Yeah, we were pretty close proximity too. Nate, you didn't get sick, did you, in Dallas or coming out of Dallas?
Not that
Did
I
you?
remember.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I was okay. And but yeah, I remember Basil. Like the next couple days after, you were like fucked.
And a lot of the other members of of the Impact roster was like they went to Mexico and they were extremely sick.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that was a rocky week. That was a weird week.
like it started because Ethan was really sick. I mean, that was food poisoning, more so than anything. But Ethan was really sick that whole weekend. And then in between that and Mexico, he was just fucked.
Yeah,
I was fucked immediately after Mexico. A lot of people were. Johnny Bravo was talking about it with me, and we were just like, yeah, we all got really extremely sick. It was crazy how fast it spread to all of us.
well, I sent you guys an article in our group chat about
Yeah,
right about that whole thing. That was Nate. I don't know if you saw it too. It was like it said, remember that flu you got in December and January? It was most likely this, and I was like, wow, that's fascinating because a ton of people I knew had something, and it's just crazy to think that we were all still carrying on. But obviously, I mean, we didn't know. What do we know? You know, information was slow to get to us, obviously, and we were all in the wrestling community. We were trying to, up until like the final hour, trying to get shows going, trying to do something, empty arena, streams, you name it. We were trying something. It's very challenging though, and to be creative. I mean, but here's my question though, guys, and you guys might have an answer to this. The television companies got media clearances to hold tapings because media is deemed essential because you got to keep people sane, right? Like that's what it all comes down to is keeping people entertained, because if you don't, you're going to have people going insane, suicides, violence, all sorts of stuff. So the WWE Impact got clearance. The other companies aren't choosing not to do it. The other television companies, but my thing is like, are indies not getting that clearance because we're not on TV? But we still count as a media medium in these times of streaming and on-demand show. Why aren't indies petitioning for a media clearance? What do you think? I don't know. I mean, we
there's
start with
no
anybody.
there's no medical staff that there's no regulation with indies.
Well, let's say we pay for staff. Let's say we pay for medical on staff, on site. And we have a nurse. So let's say we have our nurse. We say she's there. She's a RN. She's a licensed RN in the state of Illinois.
But
On staff here at the
the
chamber.
difference also is WWE, AEW, Impact all had private property to go on.
That's the other part, right?
That's
That's
the
is
big
it.
one. It's not. Oh, I'm not talking about private property where I'm saying I own this building, you can't come in. I'm talking about private property that's there 24/7. Like you can't you and I on a normal day. I'm not talking about current times. On a normal day, we can go to Logan Square Auditorium.
Yeah, but you're right. The performance center's there. They already rent rooms in Skyway Studios. AEW use the arena owned by essentially the parent company. So yeah, I see what you mean. There's a roll up, but I don't know. I mean, Nate, what do you think? I mean, there's got to be a way to get around something like that. I mean, that if we or does a legality come in that if Logan rents us the room, they're in trouble for renting us the room. They're violating an order. You know what I mean? Like, is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I'm curious. Is there a way to get around that? But I mean, then again, do we want to? Right? Like that's my thing too. I miss all you guys terribly. I miss the whole staff. I'm Danny, Mike, Keith, everybody, Rob. It's like, yeah, I'd love to see you guys, but shouldn't we? You know, is it worth risking anybody, or just do we wait another month and see where the hell everything falls? Right? I mean, by all accounts, and I don't know, and you guys are close to some of the boys too, but by all accounts, everybody seems to be making the best of a shitty situation in a way, right? I mean, like, well, some of the TV folks have a little more opportunity. Like, for example, like, you know, obviously all the TV guys, like Impact still airing tape footage. So there's at least a semblance of normalcy with their brand. AEW, WWE putting on empty arena shows, they're still going to work doing something. But some of the indie guys, like, are they? It seems like nobody's cracking on the surface, at least from what I can see. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not seeing it. But everybody seems to be kind of making the best of this rest time, healing their bodies, getting ready for the next run. I don't know if you guys seen it otherwise.
A lot of people, I think 2-3 weeks into it, a lot of the wrestlers were like, hey, I'm healed, I'm healing, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we're going through the stir crazy phase before this becomes norm. And I think that's just where we're at. We're just our bodies are finally adjusting, but we're going through this weird, like, okay, this is what everyday life is going to be like for a while. So I don't know. It just sucks. Sorry. I'm just like, even though I got to go last week, it still sucked that I couldn't, like, my friend Kylie Ray, known her for years, couldn't even hug her. You know what I mean? Like, I had to stand a certain distance away and be like, hi, or talk to her. Like, there was no secret conversations. Like, all of our conversations were allowed out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nate, you?
Tough, man.
I've barely left my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm stuck home. I'm not doing anything. I'm painting and working all odd hours of the night. But like, yeah. And we've tried to do little things here and there, watch alongs and talking regularly, but man, it really makes you appreciate what you have and what you had. You know, I'm like, man, not that I ever took you two for granted, but man, like the time we get to spend together, it's like shit when you don't have it for, you know, and in reality, it's just a month. It's really just been a month, which is a long time, but I mean, in retrospect, it's not like I've been in jail for a year, you know?
Right.
And it's like, man, a fucking month has already put me back in touch with things. Not that I forgot, but it's like, it really makes you realize what you had and what you're losing out on. It's crazy to me. And and in wrestling too, it makes me miss it, you know?
It's kind of like when you showed me the post from 2 years ago. And Trent and I have this place that we love to go to for lunch on some Sundays called Kitchen on Roscoe's. Amazing breakfast spot. And it's just little shit like that, like all like something that I appreciate with all three of us is all three of us not only like to see each other when there's wrestling, but we like to see each other normally. We all love to go out to eat or drink, and just like do normal shit. Our friendship isn't bounded by wrestling by any means.
Yeah. Shit, man. Like, yeah, 2 years ago today, it said we went there
That was the first time we went there too, or whatever.
Was it? That was really good. Actually, Kitchen on
Yeah.
Roscoe. Nate, have you ever been to Kitchen on Roscoe?
I can't say that I have.
We
We
gotta
need to
take
take
Nate.
him there. Yeah.
Oh, or
Look at
shit, we
that.
all just need to go there. Like I haven't been there in a long ass time, obviously.
I
So
know it's
let's
been
go.
probably like 6. Like I remember when I was living in the city, the first so like I do Ramadan and fast for the month, and that's actually coming up in like 9 days, and the first place I went to when I was able to eat a normal breakfast, I went to Kitchen.
Mm.
That was the first place I went to because I missed having breakfast, and I was like,
We'll have
huh?
we'll have to get takeout from there and sit 6 feet apart in a park.
No, I don't want to do that.
I mean, honestly, guys, we should do that for a day. To be honest, like we're kind of driving ourselves insane here. Like, why not just have a fucking like a powwow, when the weather's a little better next week, and just fucking get together and talk about marquee shit like we always talk about, and just do it 6 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, there's
You mean
right now
when
there's
it's not snowing?
yeah, there's
Yeah.
6 inches of snow on the fucking ground. I woke up and I was like, the fuck is this bullshit? Like,
Dude,
it's like the worst and best thing for coronavirus.
it's the worst because I mean, heat obviously will help things, but this is not heat. But at the same time, the best thing, yeah, because everybody's staying fucking inside. Nobody's complaining about going out, not going out.
Yeah, but like, I wouldn't mind if we all went to that. You remember that like little park in front of my place at Logan?
Yeah, like something like that, like a
I would
park.
love to go there. I would love to go there and just like, I don't care. Like, if it's nice in like 60s or something like that next week, like I'm
Yeah.
100% down. But I'm 100% cool with us meeting at the park. We don't touch, but we sit like 6, 7, 8 feet apart, and
That'd be something, man.
just see each other. Because I mean, how much stuff have you and I have watched along? Like we literally FaceTime and we watch the same thing, and then pretend like we're like next to each other.
Yeah, it feels weird. Just watch the Tiger King that way.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. That's what I'm saying. That's a word getting
And
to that
I know
point.
I know this sounds depressing, guys, and I'm sorry. I'm very fortunate, and I hope everybody's safe. And if you have a family member or know somebody who whatever has passed away or has gotten this, like I hope for the recovery, or I hope for your guys' happiness. But this is just the world right now that, like I said, we're in that weird phase of adjusting, and
Hmm.
it's messing with our psyche a little bit.
Yeah, it really is, man. I know. I'm just taking it like right now. I'm antsy, trying to find ways to combat it. But yeah, dude, like we got to do something because this is definitely. It's not gonna be May. I can say that at least. I don't think it's gonna be May.
I mean, Double or Nothing got canceled yesterday.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
was
wacky
so
shit.
fucking God. It was just another one of those paydays that I worked really hard to get, and it's gone. And it's
Yeah,
just like it's I just like everything's on hold, but I feel like there's some people that are not going to come back from this. Like, and
yeah,
I hope not. I hope everybody's able to recover from this, like 1,000%.
yeah.
But I know reality, um, that's not true.
People are resilient. I'm confident that everything will just it slowly work its way back. Things do, man. I mean, what was the last big tragedy like this that we had? 9/11. Right? It took a while, but the
This has
country
killed more.
did.
It's crazy. This has killed more than 9/11 now.
Yeah, that's nuts. But we find ways, man. I mean, look at what the technology and resources we have today. We're like, man, I mean, people are able to keep sane with Amazon and deliveries and Grub Hubs and streaming media. And it's like we're able to keep sane, into a degree.
We can all FaceTime with our families.
We can all FaceTime with our families. I mean, think about that. Just having that little perk. I mean, Zoom meetings with your friends. Like, what? I mean, that's unheard of shit in many ways before. So, I mean, the fact that we're able to do this now, it helps. you know, and we did like Twitch watch parties and for wrestling and stuff like that. It's like, man, the ways the ways to make the best of it, we're gonna do. And I'm trying to think of more for AEW. I mean, this is where like as a brand, you have to get creative. I got to give it to Mike Petkovich. I don't know. You guys have been seeing what's going on with the company. Like tons of content being released, compilations finally seeing the light of day. Like just see what got released yesterday, the Seth Rollins best of, the
Yeah, the
Tyler
Tyler
Black one.
Black.
It's been sitting on the shelf for I don't know how long, and it's like a who's who collection, and it's amazing. And it got put out. It's like that's the kind of shit that was like not getting done. This wasn't happening for while we're running. It's like I just feel like people are making the best of it by getting businesses are getting stuff out, fixing stuff, doing things. Like there's pluses and minuses to all this for sure. It's just a matter of making the best of a shitty situation. It really does come down to that. It's tricky spot, guys. Tricky spot. What else? Anything else going on in the world? And any other wrestling stuff? Anybody? Nate, you're pretty hip to like other companies and what people are doing and what companies are doing to stay creative. Is there anything else that seems pretty unique lately?
Probably.
If you want to talk about it, you can.
What is it? Wait, you guys holding off on it?
I don't know what he means.
I mean, unfortunately today, I mean, like I'm not gonna put an opinion on this, just so you know. Unfortunately today, because of coronavirus and a big weekend, WrestleMania all got canceled and took a big hit. XFL going into bankruptcy took a big hit on WWE's overall, and unfortunately, there was quite a few layoffs that happened today. Few wrestlers, few producers, NXT talent, PC talent, even a referee and an announcer got released today, and it sucks. Like,
but that's not an answer to Trent's question.
Oh, I thought he was just talking about other companies like that.
No.
Companies that are like doing content.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like what are people coming up with? Like AEW's big thing is let's scrape the vault, get content out. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the other post Mike made today. He found the first AEW DVD ever released from 2005. Like we're finding this stuff, and it's like let's just put this shit out, like get it on demand, whatever. So that's one of AEW's big initiatives. Is anybody else doing anything like locally? Is freelance or Zello or more? Are they doing anything unique like that, or are they pumping anything out? Or
IWTV has been doing like a constant live stream
of just random shit.
Of just and it's like it's been good for people, for like companies to get a little bit notoriety, in my opinion, because everybody's at home watching. And I've seen a lot of positives, like that freelance logo that we thought was weird, but they replayed like their very first show, stuff like that. So kind of a little bit of
they also just found their first event ever and put that up on IWTV. Revolver has been I don't know what platform it uses, but you go to their Twitter and you can just watch it through their Twitter.
Probably Periscope. Does that sound right?
Maybe, I'm not sure. But today they just put up a Chris Statlander versus Ace Austin match from last year.
Wow.
I think last week they did a Kurt Stallion versus Larry D match. So they'll just take a random match and put it up. I think on Twitch the other day they put up last year's Pancakes and Pile Drivers show, the whole thing. And I just I love doing the speakeasies for AAW, like just the idea that you can put out content, have the the chat window open and people can interact. There was the Wrestle Talk TV thing that had one of our matches on it.
Like the indie showcase they were doing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff going on right now.
Yeah. By the way, Mike with the deep cut stories is amazing, isn't it? Like him just pulling off all this random like behind the scenes shit about those AEW like early days matches.
It's
Like
great.
like no shit, I had no idea that happened. Wow, interesting. Um,
Yeah, like Basil said, IWTV, they've been, because they just got GCW shows, and so they've been randomly putting up old but new to the streaming service GCW shows,
mm,
uh, and they'll live stream those and then archive them. Um, they've been randomly live streaming like Glory Pro shows and freelance shows and whatever else they probably just feel like doing.
okay. It's just it really does come down to that. You got to get creative, find ways to just engage audience. It's also like a goodwill thing. Like, hey, we know this sucks, guys. Here's here's something to keep you busy, and it's from us. Us to you, just free content. We're doing like giving away 30 days of AEW on demand. Just anything you can, and you can do is a positive right now. And wrestling is this interesting animal that wrestling is what makes wrestling really interesting. And Nate, I know you'll love this because you and I definitely always talk history and how much we appreciate history. Uh, Wrestling's one of the biggest hooks of it is that history, having back catalogs full of just content and just how much of it's available and how much is taped and available. Like you can put out a new event every day or every hour of every day for the rest of our lives and still have not finished every piece of wrestling tape and footage in the world, There's so much that you can put out for wrestling and each company has years of stuff. You can individual matches, full events, promos, clips, whatever can just be put out into something. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
crazy.
tons of content. It's fascinating. Uh,
I love it.
I love that part about it, and it's one of those things where like a TV show, like a Friends, that was on for what 9 seasons, for example. But that's it, it's 9 seasons, 20 episodes a season, and 180 episodes, whatever it is, right? And that's it. And it's like that's all they got is 180 episodes to float the run. Like wrestling, like the WWE, let's use the oldest guy in the book. It's like they got footage going back to the 50s. How much shit can they just belt out? AEW's got 16 years they can put out. What's freelance at? 5 years now? 5 years for freelance that they can put out. Why? I mean, like you have so much shit you can just pump out constantly. I mean, from the top to the local, to Impact with 16 years of Impact or 18 years of that's like all this stuff you can do. It's mind-boggling. So it's fascinating. It's just like we're gonna have to be real creative for the next 2 months at least, and then we'll know. And then we'll know where things fall if we're back or what's going on. But just it's every company's chance to step up. Get new designs on PWTs, get new stuff, come up with new merch, print something, whatever.
Yep.
We'll see what they come up with, man. I'm curious. Curious what it all leads, boys.
Yep.
Anything else? Not really much to talk about other than that.
Nothing really. I mean that's about it. I think next time we pod, we should do another watch along.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
down for
maybe
that.
we can do another one this week.
Yeah, look, I'm not going anywhere. Nate, you going anywhere?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I think we should. Let's pick something. If you guys want to watch like something that like else, like if you're like it doesn't have to be AEW. If you guys do want to try something else, I mean, I'm willing to watch something else. It's good fun for me to watch something I've never seen. So if you guys want to do that, I'm totally open to it. You guys call it.
We can figure out something.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we should. Mike, Mike was talking about putting out a compilation of the worst AEW matches of all time, like botches, just stinkers, just all like stuff that like things that were so bad that they had to be cut from the DVD release. And I was like, dude, you need to do it. You need that. That needs to be a watch along. I mean, come on. So I don't know if he's gonna do it or not, but uh, he has tasked Danny There's like 3 early AAW shows missing from On Demand. Danny's project is to find those during all this.
Nice.
Get those on demand, early like '04 stuff. And then finalize the title history. Nate, you might be able to help with this at some point. They're trying to figure out the title history before Egotistico Fantastico.
I don't know how I could do that.
Well, with research, you got to research the research. So Ego was tapped for a little bit of history. He's supposed to be putting something together from what he knows, but we need verification. We're gonna figure it out. There's no footage, I think, that exists of Ego beating Scarpone, but like anything before that's like no dice. Nobody knows anything. It's like a lost void of stuff. We'll find out. How's you guys' buddies at Freelance doing? What are they up to?
I mean, nothing. I mean, a few of them work at PWT, so a lot of them are staying busy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But school is closed. There's no school happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. There's no shows, nothing. So, I mean,
what sucks is like everything's closed, but like you still have to pay. Is like, yeah, keep paying the rent. Rents are still due on properties and shit. It's like, god damn it. Like nobody can make revenue, but they still got to pay the rent for the damn school. That part sucks. It's just that's the tough part right now, where companies have to find creative ways to keep their infrastructure in place. Tough times, boys.
yeah.
Oh well, let's wrap it up. I don't think there's not much else to talk about that we haven't really already tapped on, right?
Nope.
All right, cool. Let's get plugs. Let's do plugs anyway. Nate, when the floodgates open, where can people find you? Well, they can find you now, but where can they book you, find you, and all that stuff?
Twitter and Instagram at Ref Nate Speckman.
There you go, Ref Nate Speckman, where he's going to be putting more photos because he's got time now to do that, right, Nate?
It's true.
That's true. I want more content. I want you to sweep Basil's albums. Put that stuff up. All right, Basil, your photos. You're going to have some more. You did take some, so we're going to have some more coming up. But where can people find you? Back catalog of photos. Where can they relive the days when we used to be able to go out and do stuff?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BZ. That's a B, 2 E's, 4 Z's, and a Y. All my photos you can see are on basilmahmood.com. And where could they find you, Trent?
You guys can find me at Vanilla Joke on Twitter. Connect with me there. And then the show is available at the BSB Show on Twitter, on Facebook, and much to our chagrin, it is on Instagram.
You notice how I stopped updating it already?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why you did that. You got to keep updating this. We are on Instagram. I mean, we were forced, and our hand was forced into making this Instagram because there's a fake out there. But we are available on Instagram at the BSB Show Pod. And speaking of the fake, there's a fake account out there. And Basil, did you report the fake yet? Has he been reported to get taken down? I think he's still up. Have you reported that yet?
I'm busy editing Impact stuff, so next week.
Next week, we're going to take you down, man, because I know you listen to the show.
I heard that pop from Nate.
That got me.
But we're going to get this guy. I know he listens. He's going to listen to this show and be upset about it. It might be the guy who left me a really bad review on our iTunes rating. The guy who dogged me. It's probably that guy. I'm going to fucking make this Instagram and shove it right up his ass. And it's like, that's probably him. So if it's you, guy, definitely do us a favor. Either shut it down or we're going to shut it down. One way or another, something's happening. But in the meantime, guys, connect with us. At least talk to us. Keep us busy. We'll talk back. We promise. We'll communicate back with you. We got nothing else to do, guys. Let's all be friends here. But we appreciate you joining us for episode 65. The road to 100 continues in these trying times. But we'll announce a watch along in the next couple of days. We'll figure out when, what content, what we're gonna do, and put it out on the social media. So definitely, guys, join us for that, and we appreciate it. Connect with us anywhere, and we will talk to you next week. See you later, everybody. Good night.
Bye.